Hello, Erek here. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into the first ever second episode of the Breakfast of Champions podcast. It is a wonderful day to be here with you, my wonderful friend Aaron, my co-host, this beautiful man, to the other side of me. How are you going? What's going on?
You know, man, let me tell you, this week has been interesting. It's been very interesting. I don't know. Do you want me to get into it?
Yeah, we want to catch up on how we've been, of course. So let's hear it.
So let me look at my calendar real quick. just because side note to a lot of you that don't know, on June 30th, I unfortunately lost my job. So I am now freelanced, man. I'm ready to go. Let's do it. But I'm gonna start learning. I'm actually gonna learn for all you programming people out there and coding people. I'm starting to learn Angular. So if you know it, or if you have any tips or tricks for me, shoot them my way, because that's what I'm gonna be working on to try to get certified in that. Just so I have something under my belt, you know.
Well, I mean, by the looks of you look like Hacker Man there behind with your green screen setup. You've got like 16 CRTs behind you with mainframes and all that kind of stuff. So you're onto something.
These are on loan. Don't let these fool you. These are on loan. I really only use 3 monitors. So these behind me, these are I got them on loan from Discord.
Oh, it's from Discord. Okay.
When you subscribe to Nitro, this is what they give you. It's in the fine print. You know, not a lot of people read that.
Yeah. Well, well, I'm sorry you lost your job.
But
I'm glad you're here because this show pays absolutely nothing.
Hey, that's what I'm looking for. I lost my job on the 30th. So it feels like I'm in a perpetual Sunday every single day. Like, do you ever watch the movie Groundhog Day? Like, I wake up and
I've never seen it, but I'm currently living it. I'm living it.
That's how it feels like. It feels like I'm just on repeat. Like, I wake up and I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? But so last Monday was the 4th of July.
Yes,
and everybody knows that's the big one where you want to light off all your fireworks and try to keep all your fingers and toes.
The American way.
Exactly. So my poor boy Sammy, with all the fireworks and everything, he unfortunately had some bad seizures. He had about 12 cluster seizures.
Bring up the photo here.
On Wednesday, and now Sammy's the sweet boy. He's my red dog, and he had, it was Tuesday night. He had 2 seizures within like 2 hours of each other, and then Wednesday it was legit every other hour. And then as we got into the night with the new medicine, they were happening every like 10 minutes apart.
Wow.
So that was pretty scary. I mean, and there's nothing you can do for him, and that's the heartbreaking thing. So yeah, except make sure that he's okay. He's not going to hurt himself. The little dog Tipper, he doesn't know what's going on, so he's trying to actively go up to Sammy while Sammy's doing this. It looks like. Do you ever see like when dogs get like aggressive, they show their teeth and they start like chomping.
Yeah.
So Sammy's body, he tenses up, he starts drooling, and he does that. So like, you know, that could, if you get near his mouth, obviously you're risking some stuff. And Tipper's like running right up to him. And it was a lot to try to keep the little dog away from him, because he's like, my brother, what's going on with him? Like, I need to help him. And it was so adorable. At one point, Thursday, Sammy was looking out the living room window, and Tipper was laying his head on top of Sammy's. Like, it's okay, buddy, I'm here, you know. And man, it was, and we think because the week leading up to 4th of July, they were just, it was like I was in a war zone, man. It was fireworks nonstop from the end of June to a little bit. I think it was last one we heard was Friday night. And knock on wood, we haven't heard any, but it was it was high stress for the poor boy, and man, I felt so bad. It's like what do you do?
There's nothing you can do, man. I mean, other than move to Australia where there's no fireworks at all.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a little change of scenery. I would just I'd have to smuggle the dogs in. I wouldn't want them sitting in quarantine for 3 months.
Oh yeah, I know. I've thought about all that. Like I've got two cats at home back in the States. I've got Socks and Daisy. Those are my cats. Socks I got in 2011. He's a beautiful gray cat. He's got little socks on his paws, but like I feel bad. I have this infinite guilt because it's like Socks is my boy. I love Socks. He's my favorite cat of all time. But I've spent like 8 years of his life away from him, so I haven't seen him and he's like 11 now. So I've only spent basically a quarter of his life with him. And I've always thought about bringing them over. But it's just they're comfortable because they're my parents now, so yeah, it is what it is. Animals, they're a precious thing. We got to take care of our animals. We got to take care of our little ones. Speaking of taking care of little ones, my son was sick over the last week, so it has been a total whirlwind here. So since the first episode of the show went live last week, which by the way, thank you everybody for listening. The show is now available on Spotify and iTunes, and it is on YouTube as well. So if you just search Breakfast of Champions, believe me, it's not the only podcast named Breakfast of Champions online, but I don't care because we're doing our own thing. And I'm sure we're the only podcast online where there's two middle-aged white dudes talking about video games and life. Surely we're the pioneers of that.
No, why would any other middle-aged white dudes want to do podcasts? I don't understand.
I don't know.
I mean,
don't know either. We're the pioneers. So since the show went live last week, my son got sick, and he's only just getting over it now. But there's a couple of days where it's just really rough. It's really difficult. Like, it's really hard to look after your toddler while they're sick because they don't understand. Like, you need to constantly wipe their nose and put them in the shower to clear a sinus and all that stuff. It's just toddlers are very headstrong, so you just have to deal with it. And of course, by design, I got sick as well because I'm looking after our son most of the time as well, while Amber works, and inevitably I got sick. So I've managed to get some time in the evenings over the last couple of days, watch the old Turtles movies, TMNT 1, 2, and 3. So it's just been very low key for me in the last couple of days. It's, more action happening in your camp, but I'm sure you'd rather the low keyness over here.
I mean, it's like I just said in chat. Thank you everyone for the the well wishes for my sweet boy, because a lot of you, if you do see me when I do my thing, you get to see him on there and you see how happy he is, and it's like, man, it just breaks your heart. But like I told it, it's he goes to the vet Monday or tomorrow, and we'll see what's going on. The new medicine does seem to be helping. Like I said, knock on wood, and it's funny you mentioned turtles because look what I got.
Oh, look at that! The last.
I don't know if it's
the green screen is cutting it out, but I know what it is. The last. Ronin.
Yeah, you know it.
So what is the last Ronin about? What is that for those who don't know anything about Ninja Turtles?
So, without giving too much away, all the turtles but one have died, and the last Ronin, he's going on his own to get I could be getting the story wrong too because I've only read the first part, but he goes on his mission to end it all. He's getting he's getting vengeance for his fallen brothers, man, and I'll tell you what, it's the first part phenomenal. When they did the reveal at the end with who the last Ronin is, I was like, all right, I need the second part. And then I unfortunately had a lot of stuff happen in life that took me away from reading those. So that now they're all together in this book. When we jump off here, that is what I will be reading tonight.
So we've got Melark in the chat. By the way, for those listening after the fact, this is a live stream show on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ErekLadd, ErekLadd. Weeknights, Sunday, it's at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to catch the live show and participate in the chat, I would love to have you there. Obviously, we can talk to you guys. But Malark asks, is this canon of the story? I don't know, but I know it's by it's a story by the original TMNT creator, Kevin Eastman or something like that. So like the original hands of the comics have participated in this. And I don't know if it is canon or not, but I love the story. I don't want to spoil who the last Ronin is, but when I found out who it is, it makes sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like
it does.
It makes sense who the last one standing is, and like that last one standing is now like has been my favorite one since I've got back into Turtles a little bit. When I was a kid, I loved Michelangelo, the orange one with the nunchucks and stuff. But I feel like I vibe so much more with this other one.
Yeah, and you know the one that is the last Ronin, because you know it, I know it, a few of you in the chat know it. He's always been my favorite just because the way he is. Like, you know, Mikey's cool, Donatello's cool, Leonardo's cool, but man, you can't beat Splinter. He's a real class act.
I love that. Well, hey, you know what? I gotta say, I love the Turtles, and I'm back into the Turtles. We were playing Shredder's Revenge the other day on the Twitch stream. It was a lot of fun. But we've got some more 90s pop culture stuff to talk about in our next segment, which is our Newsbyte. Welcome to the first official segment of the Breakfast of Champions podcast. We've got the Newsbyte segment. So Newsbyte is where we can talk about anything that's happened to us at all that we would consider news, whether it's the world events or whatever. So I tell you what, there's been a lot happening in Japan in the last couple of days. Of course, we had Shinzo Abe tragically gunned down doing a political speech, which very rarely ever happens in Japan. So that's something that was a pretty shocking event. But I mean, obviously not to belittle that, but we don't want to talk about politics and all that stuff and real life stuff. Yeah. We're here to talk about fun things. Unfortunately not fun, but the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, Kazuki Takahashi, passed away last week as well. And, you know, I feel like I've been reflecting a lot on my time as a kid playing Yu-Gi-Oh and enveloping myself in the card game and all that stuff. I absolutely loved Yu-Gi-Oh as a kid. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I still got all my original cards. I remember going to the Schuylkill Valley Mall. We mentioned this in episode 1. You know, shout out to them because they don't exist anymore. But I remember going with my father to get the Kaiba packs, the Joey packs, the Yugi packs, like all those packs.
Yep.
And I had them in a giant tin that, like, you know, you get these giant whatever collector's tin, Dark Magician tins, and Summon Skull tins at like Kmart and stuff. And it was a lot of fun collecting all those and playing all those. And I would love to get back into those, but I kind of feel like the death of the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh has reinvigorated me and my interest in the series. Very sad. What's your take on that?
You know, it is very sad because I was super big into Pokemon and Pokemon cards. And when Yu-Gi-Oh came out, I was like, yo, what is this? Another hot new trading card thing from Japan. And I remember going, and you talked about this on your stream on Friday, going to Media Play for stuff. And yes. I remember I bought my cards at Media Play in Kmart. And I remember going there, like you knew where the card section, you know, where it was. So you would cross the threshold and just boogie right to the card section. And it's like, all right, yeah, can I get this? Well, how about you don't get that one, you get these ones? And it's like, all right, okay, I'll double down and get like 5 expansion packs or whatever. But like, I recently found my my stack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I know exactly where mine are at home. Well, it a rough location because things have shifted into like storage tubs and whatever. We've got DJ Bob in the chat. Konami owns the Yu-Gi-Oh IP, the intellectual property. Konami's first delve into that gambling money. He's not wrong because like
no,
they got a taste of selling all these special edition cards and stuff, and Yu-Gi-Oh! I think was at its peak probably in the late 90s, early 2000s, because if you remember, there was a time where it was like the Pokemon generation. Like not everything was Pokemon, but there was lots of Pokemon-esque things you had. Obviously Pokemon, you had Digimon. I love Digimon as well. Like, you had Beyblades, Bakugan, Yu-Gi-Oh! There was another Yu-Gi-Oh! Spinoff. I think it was called Duel Masters or Duel Monsters. I couldn't really get into that. But Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon were like up there in the upper echelon of late 90s entertainment for me. And I loved collecting the cards. I loved the Yugi going to the dark realm and all that. So like, it was just it was so funny. It was a great time. So it's obviously sad news to see this guy pass away, but it's inevitably reinvigorated my interest in this dormant series in my heart anyway.
I remember you would watch on Toonami, you would see the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, and then you could go and go play the cards. And I mean, look at all the great memes we have now with everybody with the big bat. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like the little battle thing you could put on your wrist and actually put your cards into it.
Dual disc, I think it was. Like
I think you're right there.
My best friend growing up, I think he may or may not be kicking around in the chat right now. But I remember I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards as a kid, and I had my Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, and I brought them over to his house. He had the dual disc, and for those that don't know, is this giant like card holder that you could put on your arm, and it spanned the length of your forearm, and it was huge, and it was obviously very anime. It was very big, and so there I was, he's got all his rare cards on his dual disc on his arm.
Oh my God.
And there I am on the floor that honestly just smelled like dog piss, because like he had this little dog that just ran around and just peed everywhere all the time. So there I am with my rare cards on the floor that's just stained in dog urine. And he's like, the heart of the cards. He's like pulling these things.
No.
It's so funny.
No.
It was a great time to be a kid. I tell you what, it's funny.
It was. I mean, I don't know if it was when you were in school, but I remember Pokemon cards getting banned. Yes. I remember Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards getting banned. Dude, I remember people like sneaking them in the most random ways. Like, I remember people would put them in books. They would have each page had a card or two, so then when they closed the book, like, I'm just carrying around my goosebumps,
Goosebumps, yeah.
But yeah, that was it. It was a fun time, and it's a shame to see him go, because I think he was only in his late 60s, mid to late 60s.
Yeah, it was only
like
just on 60. I actually didn't even see how that happened, but at any rate, it's still sad. But I mean, I remember the cards. My last thing on Yu-Gi-Oh! I remember I was part of the incident where Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards got banned in my school, and I was whooping this dude. Like I must have had, no joke, like the entire Exodia pieces out, and like Blue Eyes White Dragon, and I was like, his HP was dwindling down, and I was saying the heart of the cards and all this stuff, and it's like, I'm going to banish you to the Shadow Realm. I remember he got so angry that he flipped the table. So like from there on out, like the cards were banned. We were never able to bring them, unfortunately. But I was glad to be the pioneer of banning the cards in my the Good Shepherd Regional Catholic School in Minersville, Pennsylvania. That's where
There you go, pioneer, man. You spearheaded the movement.
What have you got for your Newsbyte segment?
So I had two things that I thought were pretty interesting. So the first one, we saw everybody and their mother on YouTube said, "Oh my God, Nintendo has made their videos private for the Switch Lite and the OLED." So all of a sudden it's speculation. We're getting a Switch Pro. It's happening. We're getting an announcement. It lines up because Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are all in alignment, and Miyamoto's over there playing Mario Maker 5 because he can, and
the Georgia
we're gonna get a Switch
erupted.
Yeah, and it's like, it's gonna happen. We know it. And then the day happens, and they're like, "Oh, hey, we have a brand new Nintendo Switch OLED Splatoon 3 edition." And everybody's like, "Oh, come on." And I'm just like, it happens every single time. It's like Nintendo could say, "Oh, we have something to say." And like, "Oh my God, it's a Switch Pro." It's like, man, It's not happening. It's like it's at least gonna be next year or 2024. That's like it's funny to watch the internet go from they're all like hype train coming, here we go, choo choo, let's go everybody hop on board, and then it just derails so fast, and it's wild. I mean,
a lot of people have a lot of expectations. I mean, for Nintendo, and I joked in our Discord group the other day, like Nintendo fans need to temper their expectations, like a Switch Pro. So for those who may not be well versed in the world of Nintendo released the Nintendo Switch back in 2017. Very popular handheld console. It's dockable as well, so you can put it on your TV and then you can take it with you on the go. They released another edition later in the year in 2021, the OLED model, which has a better screen. Slightly bigger screen, but people are wanting more out of the Switch. People are wanting the hardware to be able to put out more better images and run 4K. Like, I don't even have a 4K capable TV. I mean, honestly, like my TV is like a Target TV from 6 or 7 years ago now, and I don't know any different. Like, I would love one of those like Samsung picture frame televisions that are, you know, the refresh rate is so fast it's going to make your eyes spin, but I just can't afford that. So, you know, a lot of these technical things, they don't really matter, especially for a console that inevitably is going to be ran as handheld most of the time. So, plus, there's a lot of shortages for computer chips and just microchips and all this stuff. So, like, Nintendo being able to ramp up production for that, allegedly they have been, but things are just taking a lot more time to be able to pump out hardware on this grand scale. So, I don't even honestly think it'll ever happen.
The way that Nintendo operates, they want to make an affordable console for families to own. And they would rather sacrifice the latest and greatest tech over the use. Like, they would rather you have a good user experience than have to be like, oh, well, sorry that this doesn't work. We'll fix it in an update years down the road. They would rather you have something that out of the box just works. And I get it. That's great. But you're starting to see this rise in handheld consoles. I mean, look at what the Chinese market is putting out there. Just about every month you're getting something new, something better. And it's like there are affordable options to go, but you know, if everybody wants to play Mario, you could play Call of Duty wherever you want. You can play Need for Speed wherever, but you can't play Mario anywhere, you know?
Sure.
You can only play that on Nintendo. So it's like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, it's just how they operate.
Or can you?
I mean,
we don't talk about that here.
We don't talk about that.
But there's a rise in consoles, like you said, the Ein Odin or the Aya Odin or whatever they're called. There's a bunch of different companies that are doing these handheld consoles that are dockable. The most notable of which is the Steam Deck. You have one. Mine is on pre-order for Q4. And then obviously I'll get an email. I'll pay for that. It'll ship to my parents' house, and then my parents will ship it to me because they're not available in Australia. So at any rate, I think it's going to be a great console. There's a lot of talk of all these handheld consoles being Switch killers, and I just don't ever think that's going to be the case. No. Nintendo is just always going to be Nintendo regardless of their hardware because it is the home of Mario. It is the home of these other experiences and other things. So, I mean, we've always known Nintendo to not come to the party with like, you know, HD stuff. As recent as the Wii U, the Wii U was still composite capable. So like, you know, or component capable. So the first HDMI console for Nintendo was the Wii U in 2013, but it was still piggybacking off that older signal. So Nintendo was going to be late to the party with whatever. So I'm happy to have the Nintendo stuff that I have. Of course, like I mentioned in the last episode, I'm full retro dude. Like, I mean,
you're all in.
So I could care less. But at any rate, I don't know. There's a lot of other companies doing things better than Nintendo now at this point. So it is what it is.
And that's about how I feel with it too. I mean, it's also one of those things, you know, it's like being back in time where the DS and the PSP were big. If you didn't like the DS, get a PSP. You know what I mean? If you didn't like the 3DS, get a Vita. I mean, RIP to the Vita. That only lasts, year and a half?
It's still kicking. I mean, the online communities are still great for that. And a lot of people are still playing the Vita. They're on Vita Island. So that's the term. the term for that.
Well,
I still got my
let's
Vita.
hope. Oh, I have 4 of them. So, I mean, I'm definitely a resident of Vita Island. I'm just hoping a tsunami doesn't wipe us all out.
Resident, I think you got a timeshare there, dude. You got like 4 of them.
Timeshare. Hey, speaking of timeshare, did you see old Elon might have to sell one of his many timeshares because he backed out of the Twitter deal.
I don't blame him.
And now they're suing him. Obviously, it's all contractual. There's stuff in there that says if he backs out, all right, good luck, man. See you in court. But like, how funny is that? And then they ban him. At least that's what I saw. I saw that he was banned. I might have walked into a meme possibly, but I haven't confirmed it fully, but I did see a picture. It was like his account and it said banned.
Could be true. I mean, there's a lot of prerequisites that I think that particular agreement for Elon's bid to meet. And a lot of which I look, to be honest with you, I'm not fully versed on it, so I'm only going to talk about what I barely know because I barely have time to even check Twitter. But I think there's a lot of prerequisites. Like there's a lot of filler accounts on Twitch. There's a lot of bots on Twitter, not Twitch.
Yeah.
And I think that he was just trying to get to the bottom of that to fully understand what he was buying. And I think there was some sort of disagreement there, and then it just never panned out. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. That's all I had. I mean, if you want to call me getting the last Ronin and a little extra Newsbyte there you go.
Yeah, so it's been a busy week for us. So
it has.
You go. But Newsbyte segment, Yu-Gi-Oh is back in for me anyway. Nintendo Switch Pro, Switch No, and then of course Elon. Honestly, Twitter. It doesn't matter who owns it at this point. Twitter's just going to be a.
I mean, maybe I'll try to buy it. Who knows?
Yeah, with your new Angular thing.
That's it. I'll ask them if they need somebody. Shoot them my way.
Well, speaking of shooting the other way, let's go to topic of the week. So for those who are currently watching live on my Twitch channel right now, you will have received a notification on your mobile device, or perhaps even your Motorola Razr if you still have one of those, the Go Live notification. And what the Go Live notification is, it is how I essentially tell you guys what I'm streaming about, or letting you guys know that I'm going live, or how I clickbait you into watching the show. That's what I've done. I haven't clickbaited because I actually genuinely have a story. And this is something that happened 2 weeks ago. And this is going to piggyback onto some other things that you have written in the Google Doc as well. So the topic of the week is inconveniences of a modern life. And I want to tell you guys how I had something stolen from me in the weirdest way.
Oh, no.
I've been concerned about home safety, just safety around the house since last year, where our prior rental, somebody tried to break into our house. They broke into our car, stole the keys for our car. Then we had to get our keys reprogrammed and all that stuff. So it was a total nightmare. So now that we've been living here for a year, close to that, we feel really safe. We've got security cameras out front, so I always know when somebody's at the front door. So whatever. Again, as I mentioned last week, I'm the long wind up guy. All right, I like to take my time, and I want to get to the want you to understand the payoff of the story that I'm trying to tell. So last show I mentioned that I was away for a couple of weeks, and we came back on a Sunday. And of course, after driving like 3 hours or 4 hours, the last thing you want to do is make dinner, right? So of course we get on our DoorDash application on our phones, our mobile phones, and we order our regular favorite Japanese food, which we love. We love a good old katsu curry. We love a good old chicken karage, and the green tea, all that stuff. We love all that stuff. I love Japanese food. So we order the food, and it's like estimated time delivery, like 8:30 or something like that. Okay, so great. And then it says after a little while, your dasher is approaching. So that's when usually I go downstairs, or if I have the time, and I just go wait in front of the front door and whatever. But I didn't get a chance to do that. It said delivery dropped at your doorstep. Here's a photo. So I didn't bother looking at the photo because usually I think what they have to do, the food delivery people, is they have to actually show the like upper management, quote unquote, but they have to take a photo of your delivery at your front door. So that way they know, here's your food. It is what it is. Done. I can go to the next order and whatever. So we had a notification say your delivery was ordered after the dasher was arriving and the delivery was delivered, dropped off or whatever. And I went downstairs and it wasn't there. So I'm thinking, okay, this is really weird. Surely they've just like done this. They've done this the wrong way. And then I went back upstairs and I looked at Amber's phone because she ordered it. And there was a photo of houses. And it was like taken from the parking lot, like away from our house. So it was like really like creepy. So I'm thinking, okay, so I feel like maybe we're being baited right now. So we've ordered food. The person saying it's dropped off, they've taken a photo of houses, which are like as our row of houses, and there's no food there. So I'm thinking, okay, well, this is really weird. So it turns out they took a photo of like the houses down that way. So I went outside with my Easter Bunny PJs on, as I do, because we bought a matching family set of Easter Bunny PJs, and I still wear them. Because
why not?
All I have are black skinny jeans and then Easter Bunny PJs, or our hop PJs, as we call them here. So I'm walking down the street in my hop PJs, and I find the house number that they took the photo of, and there's nothing there. So we came to the assumption that this person said they dropped the order off, but they actually took it for themselves, took a photo of a house relative in the position to us, and then they just went off into the distance, into the sunset, and just stole our food. So
I mean,
we never got that order. Luckily, DoorDash refunded us, and we got, But I mean, like, how weird is that? Imagine ordering food, it never shows up because the driver stole the food.
I mean, how epic was your order that they wanted to steal it?
It was 2 green teas, a katsu curry.
Oh, man.
I mean, like a DoorDash delivery stealing your food. I've never heard of that. Like I've always joked about like the pizza delivery man stealing a slice or something like that. But like, come on, like they actually did that.
You have the best luck. I thought I had wonderful luck with stuff like that, but turns out there's far greater than me. Like, so we had 2 things happen with food delivery. One, it was last summer. I said to my wife, I said, look, I'll order us lunch. I'll get us Wendy's. What do you want?
Ooh.
She told me. I put it in. I put it in at 11 o'clock so we could get here at 11:30. Account for waiting in the line and all that stuff. I watched the thing on my phone. They went all to every single other fast food place to pick up deliveries, and it was an hour and a half by the time I got it. I was on the the chat with their help desk. I'm like, I don't want it. It's been sitting in somebody's car for over an hour. Why would I want to eat that?
I totally
They're like, well, we can just, have them order another one and tell that person to go. I'm like, I don't want them anywhere near my house or near my food. So get this. So they deliver it and they deliver it to the next house over.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm like, I'm leaving it sit there. I'm not going to get it. Like no. So that was the first issue. And it's funny you say, you joke about the pizza guy. We ordered Domino's the first and last. Like we used to always love Domino's. And the last time we ordered it, it was an hour and a half late. And then the guy pulls into our neighbor's backyard and tries walking to their porch, like their back porch, to deliver this pizza while the neighbor's hanging out of the window saying, don't come here, you're in my yard. So we put that order in at like 8:39. It didn't show up till almost 11. And my wife's on the front porch with the light on, like out there like, yo, my guy over here. And he's just beelining it to the other neighbor's house. And so we finally get our pizza, and it was probably like a good 5-10 minutes. And I just hear this loud, like crashing sound here. he couldn't get out of their driveway because of their yard, because where their parking pad driveway thing is, it's a big slope. So it's like it slopes down, then the yard goes this way. Then there's the big curb. So he couldn't get his car back over both of those. And when he finally did, you just hear everything scrape and hit off of it. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, it was a nightmare. It's like, I get it, if like you want to deliver it to the wrong house, like, sure. You could blame it on being it's nighttime. You couldn't see the numbers, whatever. Mm-hmm. But like, if you're gonna steal somebody's food like they did with you, man, I'd like at least put like somewhat effort into it. Just don't take a picture of a random house.
It was really creepy, man. Honestly, like, and we haven't really had any issues with food delivery other than this other time where one of our favorite places here in Australia is called Schnitz, and I love it. Honestly, Schnitz is an addiction for me because the chippies are so good. And we ordered it for dinner once at like 7:00. And long story short, we were on the phone with the help desk. The restaurant closed at 9. The food didn't show up until like 9:45. So it had obviously been like this guy had been doing like the flipping world tour here with our food in his back seat.
Oh no.
Do you know what I mean? And like, at that point I had already made another dinner. So I had to like can that dinner, put it in the fridge, and eat this other stuff, which was ice cold. So I had to warm it up in the oven and whatever. It was just a total nightmare. But I tell you, and a lot of these food delivery apps have two different options. Well, a couple different options. You could do pickup as your wife says in chat. Or you can do like a standard delivery or like priority delivery.
Yes.
So the driver probably gets paid an extra 2 cents to basically get your food and take it directly to you, which is how it should be anyway. But they're doing this grand tour. They're on the Amazing Race. That's what they are. They're on the Amazing Race, and they're trying to get as many food deliveries as they can. But inherently, they're all cold by the time you get them.
I get it. Secure the bag, but how about you secure my bag of hot food? Like
secure the bag. Well, that's exactly right, man. Well, there you go. I do have a couple other things here on the inconveniences of a modern life. I know we kind of derived around food delivery. But you have another one here, and this is thankfully has never been my issue. But when the username you want is taken,
dude, what a nightmare is that, huh? I mean, so when I was trying to come up with my my name for like all my things, I landed on Kitsune Bites, which is great. Love the name. It's awesome. You know what I mean? It ties into, I like Japan. Love the stuff. Love everything from there. And I like foxes. I'm not going to do fox bites because that could unfortunately get a tad political to some people.
You could have done fox sakes.
I see that would have been a good one, but I guarantee you somebody already has it. Like, I sat there for 2 days before I landed on Kitsune Bites, and it's like, man, how is it possible that every single thing you come up with, somebody's already done it?
It's crazy.
It's like you think you're like, yeah, what I have in my head is super unique. Nobody's gonna have it, and then there you go. It's taken.
Thankfully, my name hasn't been taken for anything other than me. So, like, when I recently changed my Twitch account from Retro Game Remix to my name, it's there. It's always going to be there. There is literally nobody else in the world with my name. Thankfully, my parents decided to make me a unique individual with my name. The spelling of Erek, Erek. I haven't seen that anywhere else. So
I never have seen it. Yeah,
I'm somewhat of a prestigious icon myself here.
Well, I mean, it's hard being you, isn't it?
It sucks.
And another thing that this was more of, so when I was adding my little blurbs to the Google Doc, I was I give Mrs. KB a little insider scoop, and she's in the other room screaming, packing tape. Why is it we live in a modern age where we can have food delivered, we can have all these wonderful things right to our door, but when you want to get a strip of packing tape, you can never find it unless you peel a little back and fold it over, And if that doesn't work, you're just forever just ripping small strips off, trying to.
Yo, honestly,
she's like, we're in an age where like this shouldn't be a problem.
It's very true. I mean, honestly, for those that don't know, I finished a Kickstarter campaign, which is I started almost a year ago, by the way, which is crazy to how time flies. But I had my fair share of experience with packing tape because, as you know, you can, if you don't have the packing tape roller, like, you know, if basically if you don't work at UPS, you know, where you have those the packing tape guns or whatever, the handles, that, you know, that's easy to do. But if you just have a standalone roll of packing tape and you use it like 6 months ago, then you finally get it. And then it's just like you're trying to find where that you're taking your thumbnail and you're trying to like roll the tape along, and then you're trying to have your thumbnail catch on the edge of that tape. And then you finally peel it back, and then you realize like, oh, no, you've already done that. And then there's like a little thin layer on the far right side. Yep. So you just got to like roll it off until you get like a nice flat piece. It's so annoying.
That's crazy. Man, it's so bad. It's so bad. But yeah, that was a little Mrs. KB entry because, like I said, she gets a little insider baseball whenever I'm filming this thing out.
This is a good one here. There's less than Sarah in the chat says we can FaceTime someone in China but can't microwave more than 6 pizza rolls at once. Very true. DJ Bob says we've managed to figure out how to put cheese in a can and not refrigerate it. We can do anything. This is what I'm saying. The shadow government is putting a bottleneck on the things that we as society can and can't do. And that includes, but not limited to, packing tape. So there you go. What else do we have anything else on the dock here?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Wait.
Oh, crappy Wi-Fi, man. I mean, that's another thing. Like it's again, we're in this wonderful modern age, but you can still have poor reception for Wi-Fi. You could be right next to it and have no luck. Be on the other side of your house through 2 brick walls and have swell service. So like I don't understand.
Don't understand.
You know? that's that pesky shadow government.
I know. Yeah, I hear you. Well, I mean, crappy Wi-Fi, yes, it does exist, especially in Australia. But I mean, at the same time, we've got NBN, the National Broadband Network, which is fiber to our house, and I'm still lucky to get. I mean, I've got 50 megabits up and 50 megabits down and 15 up. So like, it's enough for me to stream on. It's enough for me to do everything that I need to do. But it's still like knowing that I'm sure your up and download speed is just kind of probably like triple what I get. So I mean, it's a very first world problem thing for me. Sorry.
I know, 100% first world problem. Like, why can't my Wi-Fi be fast? Like, come on.
Well, hey, speaking of fast Wi-Fi and calling and all that stuff and internet, let's move on to our next segment where we're going to open up the phone lines for all the viewers right now. If you want to call in, it's called Chat with the Champs. Okay, welcome to Chat with the Champs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the phone lines here. So if you want to call in, it is 315-314-4190. It is probably not a toll-free number, but it is a number that you can ring. So if anybody watching the show wants to call in right now and talk about anything, or if you want us to put over Aaron's face, yeah, we'll do that. There you go. This one right here. Just move it down to the red banner. Thank you so much, Amby. By the way, I want to give a big shout out to my wonderful wife, Amber, for helping with all the graphics and stuff. So that way we have somewhat of a visual identity. But yeah, the number is 315-314-4190 if you want to call in and chat about anything. Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's anything that we talked about during the show, your memories with Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever. See, I'm hyping this up, and now we're never going to get calls. And it's going to be a flop of segment.
That's all right.
To entice people to call in, perhaps I can bring up a randomly generated topic, and we can just start riffing on that.
All right.
Podcast topic generator. Oh, by the way, thank you to everybody who has watched the show on YouTube. I've been replying to all the comments and stuff like that. So I'll put a command in the chat here. It's podcast YouTube, or if somebody wants to do that while I look up a topic, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the edited replays. We're always there reading the comments and stuff. No voicemails either. I didn't have enough chance to plug them. And because our audience is still very fledgling, I don't anticipate voicemails and stuff every week, but there we go. Okay, here's a good one, and this is very relevant for you, and anybody can call in and chat about this. Does having a day off for a holiday increase or decrease productivity at work? So let's just say you got a vacation coming. What are you doing the day before?
Absolutely nothing. I'm in vacation mode. I am sitting there counting the seconds on when I can get out of work. I mean, so before they put me on an extended vacation,
yes.
I was sitting there, and I remember telling everybody in our little Discord group, I'm like, my God, this is taking so long. It's only Tuesday, and I want it to be Friday so I can log off and not have to look at this forever. And I definitely go into what I call vacation mode, where it's like I'm working. I'm really trying to do my job, but it just, it's one of those, like, you have the mental block of I can't take it anymore. I have just a little bit to go before the big, time off. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people go through. And everybody might handle it differently. Like, some people might do it on the last hour. They might go, yeah, I'm on vacation next week. I'm not doing anything the last hour of the day.
It's the entire day for me.
That's how it is for me. Entire week at that point. But
actually, the entire tenure of my job, I'm quitting at some stage. So might as well just not bother.
Yeah. But yeah, that's at least how I look at it.
So yeah, Beowulf with this. Oh, there it is. We've got a caller. Hang on. I know you're not going to be able to hear it. I'm sorry. Hello, welcome to the program. Who do we have on the line?
We've got Nerdwire Play.
Hey, Nerdwire.
How are you?
How are you? Thank you so much for calling in. How's it going? Now, I apologize because I think our co-host Aaron can hear you, but you can't hear him because tech is just not configured anyway. So anyway, what do you want to chat about? It's great to hear from you.
So I was catching the conversation about what are you doing with your last hour before vacation, and it's extremely applicable because I've been on vacation for the last 2 weeks, and I can tell you I did absolutely squat on my entire last day
See?
before going on vacation.
That's hilarious.
It was productivity was garbage, but the worst part is that I've got work starting back up again tomorrow, so this is my bright spot.
Fair enough. So what do you do for work? I think you mentioned we were chatting the other day via Instagram. You're a photographer, are you, by trade?
No, that's actually my wife. My wife is a photographer. I used to do graphic design, but I swapped to doing a retail job. I sell video games at a very prominent American video game retailer. Been there for about 7 years.
Funko Land, is that the one?
That's what I was thinking too.
Yes, Funko Land, the now extinct Funko Land.
Well, that's cool.
But yeah, no, it's basically I am in the management side of things now, so things are a little bit different. But that being said, I don't know. I'm really not looking forward to going to work. I'm happy that you guys are pursuing some of the things that you guys get to enjoy. Happy you guys are able to do your podcast, and glad that I was able to call in and take up a little bit of your time.
Oh no, that's fair enough. Now I've got to ask you, because I know where you're alluding to where you work for. What's your opinion on the power-up cards or the level-up cards? Is that something that you like? Is that like, because I remember back in the day when I used to go to that particular establishment, every time I would go in there, I would get hounded for the cards. And it's just like, of course I have one, but it's just like, do you want to add this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? How do you feel about that? As somebody on the inside, I'm dying to know.
One of the biggest things that I try to make sure that we do is make sure that you talk to the customer about the stuff that is actually applicable to them. Power-up card is something that would help anybody, but from the perspective of everything else, I don't want my team, I don't want my people to be extremely pushy. I want them to make sure that they're keeping customer first and putting the emphasis on actually meeting what that customer needs. And your experience and even mine before I started working there, that's very similar. It's one of those things that I want to make sure that your needs are met, but that we aren't pushing you in to just try to be another one of our numbers. That's the biggest thing.
I like that. I appreciate that.
Same.
We've got DJ Bob in the chat saying Nerdwire for president. There you go. I'm sure you could do a pretty good job there. Well, hey, I tell you what, I always wanted to work at that particular video game retail. I don't know why we're not saying a GameStop. I always wanted to work at GameStop as a kid. I remember trying to apply, but I just never got hired. I was actually hired to a retro video game store many years ago, but I ended up not working there. And we'll talk about that next week, because next week on the show, we've got a guest lined up, and we are going to talk about video game retail. So it's really great to kind of tee that up and tease it a little bit. So thank you, Nerdwire, for calling it. It's great to chat with you. I've got a lot of respect for what you're doing. You're just starting out your streaming stuff as well. So everybody check out Nerdwire Plays. Is only just getting started on his streaming journey. Really nice guy, very, very talented. I love I mentioned to you on Instagram, I love your design stuff as well. And everything's just really crystal clear. So you're doing it all the right way. So congrats to you, and best of luck going forward.
Thank you so much. I really wanted to call in. Thank you and your community, and just be extremely thankful. Thanks DJ Bob and Kinsleby and a bunch of your people I'm seeing in the chat there that came over to my community. I really appreciate you guys and everything that you guys have done. So
very good. Thank you.
Evening.
Yes, you too. Well, hey, have a great day at work tomorrow.
Hey, take it easy.
Thank you.
All right. Ta-da. See ya. Well, that was a nice one. That was a very wholesome chat. So yeah, the old GameStop, man. That's a good one. I haven't been at GameStop in many years though.
I wanted to work at a GameStop too. I think that's like every gamer's, like, oh man, I wish I could work at GameStop. It'd be, video games all day long. And
it's not really like that though.
No, it's not.
I like I said on the call, I wanted to work there for a period of time, but it ends up being depending on your disposition, it can just become a retail job, and that's fine. Because there are some people who are passionate about retail and customer satisfaction and customer interaction. That's great. But sometimes it just does not become about the video games. It does not become about, why you originally worked there, as with anything, of course. You know what I mean? Like, working in the phone and computer repair shop. I didn't really care about customers, man. I just wanted a job, but I ended up becoming really passionate about the work and all that stuff. So yeah, there you go. But yeah, a sweet, as my father-in-law said yesterday, a sweet FA on your last day of before your vacay, if that makes sense.
Oh man.
I'll leave the line open here for just another minute, just in case anybody else wants to call in. But yeah, just having a day off for holiday increase or decrease productivity at work. So if anybody wants to call in, 315-314-4190. But yeah, I remember before I left my job when I was working there last time, the last day I just sat. I mean, I was just like, why bother?
Exactly. It's even worse when you put in your 2 weeks and you're like, all right, I'm gonna put them in.
We got a caller. Hello, welcome to the show. Who do we have on the line currently?
Hey, Erek, it's Beowulf.
Hey, Beowulf, how are you? Thank you so much for calling in, man.
I'm doing good. Oh, except for this freaking heat we got going on.
Oh, yes. So where are you calling from currently? I think you said you're in Arizona in the chat.
Oh, God.
No, San Antonio. We've been doing a lot of southern Texas stuff.
Oh, goodness me.
Wow.
Yes.
No, you go. Your show.
Oh no! It's your show now. You got the floor. So what do you do the day before you? So for those that don't know, Beowulf is a trucker in the U.S. Sailing the blacktop seas, as you say. So how do you find your productivity on the day before a day off or a long stretch after or before a break?
Well, because we usually stay out for about 3 to 4 weeks at a time, and then we'll be home for only 3 to 4 days. The thing is the day before we get home, we have to run. We have to continue doing our job as hard as we can. So I don't get the luxury of chilling or anything. And then getting home, it's wherever we end up, usually like Phoenix to where we live is about 3 hours away. So I'm driving all the way there, then unloading the truck in 100-degree plus heat, and then getting down. So by the time we actually get home, like I haven't relaxed at all. So the first day is like sleep. And then the other 2 days go by so fast that I don't even know that I'm home.
Fair enough. I mean, it must be hard having a stint where it's just like you are on for so long, and probably to the point where you don't know anything different. When you do have time off, it's like, well, now what?
Yeah.
Oh, well, and then not only that, but you have to do your errands and stuff. Normally, everything that people would do after work or when they have some spare time, you got to handle everything. So like right now, because it's summertime, we stay away from Arizona because it's hot. We stay in like the Midwest or Northeast. But when I'm going home in October, I'm going to see my family finally after 6 months. But also I have to get my medical certificate for trucking done again. I'm going to have to go do, X, Y, Z. And then by the time I get back on the road, I'm like, where does the time go?
Yep. Huh. I can only imagine. Honestly, the life of a trucker, especially in this particular climate where you're trying to stay as busy as you can, it's good on you. You're doing a great job keeping everybody afloat over there. It's hard work, I'm sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, I will say people take for granted, like, they go to a store and they see fully stocked shelves. They don't think, oh, Beowulf dropped all my Twinkies off, because that's pretty much what it is, and that's what you're doing, and you're doing great work there. So, but I hope your next break you get a good chance to have a long stretch off and chill out, literally in the AC and hang out for a little bit.
Well, I hope so. Should be going to Omaha.
Oh yeah,
actually here next Monday, so the weather should be nicer there, and I'm thinking of whether or not to add another piercing to my repertoire.
Sorry,
I you saw that.
Okay, gotcha. My headphone cable came out like with your last 10 words.
Oh, God.
Aaron,
I was
go ahead.
Hoping to get maybe adding another piercing to my face.
Oh,
don't
nice.
have enough metal in there.
Very nice. Well, hey, nothing wrong with a little bit of metal there.
No.
And, speaking of Beowulf, your wonderful better half page just donated 1,000 bits in the chat. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We really appreciate that.
So awesome.
That's so good. Thank you so much. And Beowulf, I gotta say again, you're doing great work. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for calling in the Breakfast of Champions podcast as well. It's great to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me, and thanks for doing what you guys do. It's really fun.
We got to keep you truckers entertained somehow.
That's it.
Well, you do a great job.
Thank you so much, man. We'll chat soon.
Yes, sir.
All right. See ya. Whew. Pretty good calls there. I'm so sorry that you can't talk to them.
I was going to say, I wanted to wait to say this so Beowulf could hear me. Beowulf, buddy, mad respect for you and what you do, man. You keep the lights on for everybody, and that's something that I couldn't imagine doing. So mad respect for you, dude, and keep on trucking.
For sure. Keep on trucking. Well, hey man, I tell you what, that's what we're gonna do. We'll wrap it there with calls. So thank you to everybody for calling in. I didn't expect any calls, so there you go. That's great. So if anybody wants to call in or leave a voicemail for the next show, you can call in 315-314-4190. You have a 100% chance of leaving a voicemail and having it read or played on the show. So if somebody wants to do something quirky or funny, please, I need content. Very good. Any closing thoughts for today's show? How did you feel about today's show?
Terrible, man, terrible. Let's just go back to episode 1. Let's take it all back. No, I'm kidding, man. It felt good. I mean, we cruise right through it. I mean, we're an hour in, and it felt great.
Yeah. So I told you the other day that we're having a guest on. How do you feel about having a third person at the table, the breakfast table?
I'm gonna have to, spread my wings a little bit. But no, I'm actually very excited for the guest. One, I'm very excited. And two, I'm gonna come up with some questions. Now, some of these questions are gonna be like legit, and some are just gonna be totally off the wall. So,
yes, I'm super stoked. So, for those who are listening after the fact, if anybody wants to tune in for the live show, it is Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ErekLadd, ErekLadd. Next week, our guest is, I'm not going to tease it. I don't want to tease it, but if you like video games and you like retro goodness and you like GameStop and you want to know about the inner workings of business and in that kind of market, please tune in. And pop culture as well. I think it's going to be a really interesting one. And it'll be our first guest. And watch, he's not able to confirm for next week, and I'm just talking and nothing happens. That would be my luck.
Don't put that out in the universe, Eric. Come on, man.
I know.
No, it'll be good. It'll be good. I have a good feeling about it. So I'm excited for episode 3.
Yes, me too. And for those who are watching on YouTube or whatever, just remember there's the Breakfast of Champions podcast replays on YouTube. It's now on Spotify and iTunes. If you listen to it, please give it a rating. It helps us grow and all that stuff, and we want to be able to grow this show as best we can. So I think that's it for the show. For those watching live, stay tuned. We're going to flick over to the post show, and we're just going to hang out with the chat for a little while, and then we'll just chat until we can't chat anymore.
Yeah.
So any final closing thoughts for episode 2?
I got nothing.
Okay.
I've given all my thoughts. I have no more to give.
The well has run dry. You heard it here first. We'll see you next time.